How's everyone doing? Good, I'm great. Yeah.
Christy Scales sat on the reporter for Dallas Cowboys Radio Network.
How are you?
What was it? Doing well. Welcome to Dallas. And
Yeah.
what attracts you to this position group, and what do you see just with a quick overview?
Well, I mean, obviously from an organizational standpoint, right? Mr. Jones and the Jones family, right? I mean, this is America's team, right? I think that attracts people from the outside, and then seeing what you have in the room, obviously with ceedee being the leader of that group and being the vet, and then Jalen Tolbert playing the way he played last year. Dak is Dak, and again, it's America's team. I mean, you can't pass on these opportunities.
Junior, Josh Longfino from Lone Star Live, and speaking with some players that you've worked with in the past, they describe you as a motivator. What is your leadership or motivator style like? What do you contribute that to?
As far as motivating, I think the most important thing for me is, and this is what I'm really doing right now with these guys, is just really working on just connecting, right? Just diving into the person, diving into who they are, their family, their background. I think that's the most important piece, because when we can connect, then that's when the trust is built, and that's the most important part of it.
Was it an easy decision to come here? Because obviously you said a lot about the Cowboys and
Right.
tradition, that kind of thing.
No, it's never easy, and it's never easy when you do transition between jobs or taking jobs. It actually was a really hard one with my relationship with obviously with Dan Lanning and that offensive staff, and most importantly the receivers that I was able to recruit and then coach and then connect with. It was really hard, to be honest with you. I had a few sleepless nights, that's for sure.
Coach Nicole Everson, DallasCowboys.com. Have you already been able to talk with some of the players and kind of share your vision for this wide receiver room?
I haven't. I've talked to guys, but again, I haven't spent any time on football with them. I haven't. It's just been, again, just trying to get to know the person, which is the most important piece.
And what have those conversations been like?
They've been good. They've been really good. We're still working on them, right? The relationships, you got to work at them, and we're making that a priority.
It seems like a number of college coaches, he's had a number of coaches with college backgrounds. Is there emphasis on teaching in the staff? Was that part of the, I don't know if you talked to Shadi about that, but, from Riley to you to the guy from UTEP DC's here. I mean, a lot of guys with college backgrounds here. I don't know if developing and teaching is part of this process here.
Well, I think one for starters, I have not. That has never come up in conversation when it comes to college and pro. But I'm sure the experience does matter. But when it comes to the development and teaching, I think that's a premium on all levels, right? It's not just in the NFL, but it's in college. It's going to be in high school. If you look at the best programs in all levels of football, that teaching and developing is a big piece.
Yeah, I guess that's my point. Is you have your background in teaching and development. You look at all the guys you brought in. I'm thinking that's what they want for this staff is some teachers and development.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly what we're looking for. That's what we want. So,
Junior, who do you consider your coaching mentors?
Oh gosh, I got a few of them. Dan was awesome to work for, and again, he's a good friend. He's family. Chris Peterson was awesome. He's been a big part of my life. Actually, I just got to phone him a few hours ago. Mike Kramer, who I started with, George Stewart, Eric Yarber, and then the list goes on. But those are some of the guys that have been a big part of my coaching career.
When the scouts come to you and ask about the most important traits that you want, whether it's from a physical nature or character-wise, what do you tell them? Because this is the important part of the year, just there, putting the board together.
When I talk about a wide receiver and evaluating them, or the traits, most importantly, would be, I always say, competitive, tough, and intelligent, right? And we acronym that with CTI. That's what I'm looking for.
Is there, we talked about the college game and where it is with NIL and recruiting and all that stuff. Do you think that's why you're seeing some guys kind of want to trek out the NFL, not because it's easier, but there's the year-round nature of your sport now, where it's not only recruiting guys for the next time, but you're trying to recruit guys to keep them as well, that it just kind of never ends?
Well, I think there's two different levels, right? I think there's NFL, it's obviously you don't have to deal with the NIL piece, and I'll be quite honest with you, when I was at Oregon, I really didn't have to deal with any of that. Obviously, the retention of players is a big piece, and then obviously recruiting is another big piece, and where I was at Oregon, we did a really good job of that.
Was ceedee, when you showed guys in the league to your players in the room, was ceedee ever a guy that you pointed out or showed any film of to, hey, look at this, what he does?
Yeah, I have. I've used him as examples a few times.
In what kind of way? What do you like about what he's been able to
One
do?
thing, when you look at ceedee, he's a really good football player. He's got a high football IQ. And like she just asked, those traits, right? You can see on film, he's competitive, he's tough, and he's got a high football IQ.
Hold on, Cowboys Nation. No need to panic just yet. The news just dropped. Zack Martin is retiring. One of the greatest offensive linemen in Cowboys history is walking away from the game. And let's be real, this one stings. Martin wasn't just good, he was elite. 9 Pro Bowls, 7-time All-Pro, a future Hall of Famer without a doubt. Since 2014, he's been the backbone of this offensive line, protecting quarterbacks and paving the way for running backs. But despite all his greatness, there's one thing missing from his legacy: a Super Bowl ring. And that frustration isn't just his, it's ours too. So now the big question: what happens next? How do the Cowboys replace a generational talent like Zack Martin? Before we get into that, tell me, what's your favorite Zack Martin moment? Drop it in the comments. The moment Zack Martin announced his retirement, Cowboys fans went into full panic mode. We need a guard at pick 12. Trade up. Do whatever it takes. Look, I get it. Losing a player like Martin is huge. But let's take a step back. Invest in a first-round pick on an offensive guard. That's not always the smartest move. Think about it. Some of the best offensive lines in the league didn't spend top draft picks on their guards. Teams like the Chiefs and Eagles built strong O-lines by developing talent, not overpaying in a draft. And even if the Cowboys did draft a guard early, rookies aren't guaranteed to be game changers on day one. The transition to the NFL is tough, and history shows that first-round linemen don't always live up to expectations immediately. So, should we really go all in on a rookie at guard? Not so fast. There are other ways to fix this problem. If you want to know how the Cowboys can solve this, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I know. Some fans are already rolling their eyes, but hear me out. Hoffman has already faced elite defensive linemen in the NFL. He's tough, scrappy, and plays with an edge. He's the kind of guy who won't back down from a fight in the trenches. And let's not forget, offensive linemen need time to develop. Look at guys like Terrence Steele. Fans weren't sold on him at first, but with experience, he became a key piece of the O-line. Could the same happen with Hoffman? Of course. The big question is he actually good enough to start? Some believe he's just a backup at best. So what do you think? Does Brock Hoffman deserve a shot at the starting job? Drop your opinion in the comments. Alright, if Brock Hoffman isn't the answer, here's another approach. Move Cooper Beebe back to his natural position at guard. Beebe played guard throughout college before switching to center. If the Cowboys slide him back to his original spot, they could focus on drafting a true center instead. And let's be real, finding a quality center in the second or third round is much easier than landing a top-tier guard. This would give the O-line more flexibility. A rookie center could develop alongside Tyler Smith, strengthening the interior for years to come. Or if Dallas wants more experience, they could sign a veteran center in free agency to provide stability while Beebe transitions. Teams like the Eagles and 49ers have built dominant lines without constantly spending first-round picks. The Cowboys could do the same. But what if none of this works? There's still one more option. If the Cowboys don't trust Brock Hoffman and don't want to shift Cooper Beebe, there's still one more route: free agency. There are always solid veteran guards available at a reasonable price. A guy like Will Hernandez could step in and bring much needed experience and toughness to the interior line. And let's not forget, Dallas has a new offensive line coach, Connor Riley. Riley's background is all about developing young linemen. Instead of spending a first-round pick, the Cowboys could trust Riley to mold mid-round talent into quality starters like the Chiefs and Ravens have done. This could signal a shift in how Dallas builds its O-line. More coaching, less draft capital spent early. So Zack Martin is gone. The world isn't ending. The Cowboys have options. They just need to make the right call. Now what would you do? Drop your solution in the comments.